Yay! We're back with another video at 8:51 p.m. and I'm in my kitchen. This is my kitchen, okay? No, it's not like, made of all a bunch of wealthy items and stuff like that. But some of this is my art, if you can see close enough. I'm not sure if you can or not. But, it's home to me. It's home to me. No, I'm not artistic. Anyway. So I was just thinking, absurd thoughts, This is not really a gang stalking video. It's just me, mouthing off just to hear the sound of my own voice. Because, there's no one really to talk to, so I might as well do that. It's like, you can get on, Facebook, and sometimes I do scroll down Facebook comments and stuff like that. Some people post some pretty cool stuff. So it's just like, okay, I can't even get into that. But, I'm just kind of bored today. And actually, I'm not in a bad mood because I'm making up my mind. It's like I'm just done thinking about this bullshit right now. I just don't want to think about it anymore. And like I said, it's not defeatism. It's just it's a force that I don't believe is superior to me. Because if obviously all these fucking people are behind this, right? And I can figure this stupid shit out because it's quite transparent. It's I don't know. It's like I guess you could consider it like an infestation of cockroaches. I'm in that mood. I want to laugh right now. I really do. I deserve a good laugh. I was thinking, I'm not a confrontational person, but, I have what it takes to stand up to myself. As a matter of fact, I've stood up to Steve Murray before. And, I don't like to intimidate people. I think I have a pleasant look to myself, meaning that I look kind. I think I look kind, I think I look like a sweet little old lady who's very kind. That's how I see myself, okay? And I really can't say... Nobody can sit there and say, well, she comes off as a total bitch or something. Because it's not true, okay? But you get me angry. If you get me angry, I will get, absolutely, irate. And you don't want to see that, right? But I was thinking about, some people are perceiving this to be me standing up for black rights or something. I will say that obviously this has a lot to do with racism, okay? It does, okay? Whether we'd like to admit it or not, but it does. But and then when you stand up for yourself, some white people perceive it as she's just pro-black or something, and they think that I'm trying to raise this revolution or something, and that's not even it, okay? Although, of course, I do understand that people of color do struggle, okay? The reason why a lot of people of color are poor is because of these little hidden grounds to secret societies and operations. There's a lot of that, what do you call it? Not really giving credit to us. We don't get taken seriously in the workplace. So on. I can go on and on and on about that. But, that's not really my issue. I really am focusing more on a human, actually, really, I'm not even focusing on it at all at this point. But I'm more thinking in terms of human rights in general, okay? But when it comes to my hair, obviously that is a black issue. It's a black issue. And not all of my targeting was relating to my hair. Obviously, I think that maybe it was used as an excuse to a certain degree. Or maybe it was it used as an issue to try to get to me, because I do think that Steven's mom was just thinking that I was after her son. God, that's so weird, because when I think about how impossible that is, right? I can't help but laugh at it. But I was thinking about some of the civil rights people in the civil rights movement, and some people who were outspoken, and some people who I think were feared. I know when I think about Malcolm X, I know a lot of white people, they don't really know that. They think of him as somebody who was, an agitator, when in fact he wasn't an agitator. He was a very strong person who was not afraid to speak the truth, And no, I'm not aligning myself with Malcolm X before you guys start getting all upset and all worried and start planning your next clan meeting. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? But I will say though, if I was back in those days, okay, and if I was somebody who was a part of the civil rights movement, I would be a force to really reckon with. I really would be, because I would be unstoppable, okay? And of course, lest I was going to be assassinated, which I probably would have ended up being assassinated. Why? Because there would be no stopping me. There would be absolutely no stopping me, because I would say and do whatever it took. Just like I would have the same attitude as he would, okay? And I can see where he was coming from. But anyway, I was just kind of giggling to myself because, some people look surprised, like when they actually see me angry, because they usually think of me as somebody who's like, I'm a short woman, and I'm really kind of quiet and stuff like that. But when I get mad, oh my God, you don't want to see me mad. You really don't. So anyway, I'm just thinking about this weekend, and I'm having fun looking at this this camera thing. It's really fun. Of course, anything's fun when you really need entertainment. I do really need entertainment, but I'm thinking about starting my project tomorrow, which I probably will. And I think there's a few other things that were floating around in my mind, not necessarily relating to gang stalking, but I know that a lot of people who are involved, my perps, a lot of people who are involved in my perps are people that I either kind of drifted away from because of time or just life circumstances, and then there's certain people that are involved that I probably severed ties with, and I wasn't really happy in my relationship with them anyway. But they're involved in this, and it's like, why are you fucking involved? It's like, because obviously, just because of the situation that I'm in right now, obviously shows that these people are basically kind of frenemies, And so it's really disturbing when you know that these things could be orchestrated by people who really don't have your best interests at heart. That's like, really, it's disgusting. And when I moved away, I never really kept in contact, except for light little notes that I would write on Facebook or whatever. And I wanted to keep it light. I didn't want people all close up and being involved in my life. I just didn't. I mean, I would say high school for me was like a miserable experience. One that although what was good about high school? I remember, I loved goofing off a lot. I was always, making jokes and stuff like that, and the yearbooks, I got rid of my yearbooks, by the way. But I remember most people would write things in my yearbook like, you were always laughing. Every time I saw you, you were smiling all the time. I mean, yeah, I was kind of a depressed person, but I mean, I always found the time to bullshit. I always had time to just literally be like a total goofy person. Which I still love that, I still love being goofy. But, I was, this whole gang stalking thing is just like, oh God, it's really taken a lot out of me. It really has. But, high school wasn't fun for me. It just wasn't. I mean, and I was starting to come to this realization of who I was little by little, and I knew that I was different, and I really didn't feel very comfortable in high school. It was like my younger years where I was very attached to, right before you go into kindergarten and I would say third grade. There's that tiny little small time frame was just so magical to me because you're like a newborn person, you're out in the world and everything is so bright and full of wonder and everything, and then high school is when you start realizing that there's differences in people, whereas before you don't really pay much attention. But I don't know, I was thinking how weirded out I am that all of this has been going on for such a long time, and you talk to these people and they're a part of your life and you don't know that they're a part of your life, and it's like this, you can't help but feel betrayed, you can't. It's like, why do you realize the kind of shit that you're causing? You know, or maybe Steven's mom was kind of controlling the situation, all of it. Like maybe she was acting like she was some angelic, concerned mom, and she had everybody convinced. Because for the longest time, that's exactly what I thought. I thought she was like, this sweet little lady. I remember seeing her. She had a really cute face. That family has a very cute look to them. They have very nice facial features. So she always, just because I hate somebody doesn't mean I can't pay them a compliment. Not like I'm trying to butter up to this weird psycho bitch, but they were cute. They looked like they were cute people. Man, this woman must be crazy. She's, you got to be crazy, to come after someone like that. I know when I was realizing that I was targeted, this force seemed so evil to me. Like when I was working over at that prosthetic place, oh my God. I remember it was the first week I got there, I could feel everything. I've mentioned this before, but in my stomach and my solar plexus and stuff, because I'm really, sensitive to that sort of stuff, and I could just feel someone's hatred. She must really be madly in love with her son. She must be, they must have the most passionate, that must be he must be her world or something, and whatever, man. I'm not even interested in playing into that game. That's too weird for me. But, how would that even be possible, But for her to be so, possessive and so cutthroat, the only thing, that's one of the reasons why I realized that there was a relationship with them, because that kind of hatred, that's the kind of hatred a woman has for a person when she's feeling insecure and she's feeling threatened about losing somebody she loves. So I figured, okay, I don't know, it's weird how my brain works, the way that certain messages and things formulate in my mind. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there in the middle of the day and I'll get psychic visions, or pictures will flow through my mind, or people's faces pop through my mind. I'm like, they must be thinking about me right now, and I just know, but yeah, anyway, I think that obviously her attack on me was something that should have never happened, and it really makes me ill knowing that she had control over something that was so important in my life. And the only way I could imagine her doing that is playing this, I want my son to be with this girl type scenario. I do remember, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm starting to connect more dots here as I'm talking. When I was over at that metaphysics store around the corner from my house, I remember these women in town, they must have known what was going on. They had to have known. Obviously, at that time, I had no understanding. And I was talking about how I was upset. I was just really pissed off, And I actually went there to relieve myself of this bullshit that was going on, right? But these women must have known. And they said, I said that it was kind of like a racial issue. I didn't want to go into the whole thing because I don't talk about too much, but I was just dealing with whatever. And she's like, oh, don't make it a race issue. Make it a woman's issue. And I'm thinking, okay, first I thought it was my sisters, and it could be, because I know my sisters are jealous bitches. But maybe she was Steven's mom was the main jealous bitch in all of this, And it just surprises me that if this is the case, okay, and more insights will come in later in my mind, because all this is revealing itself in my mind. And it's revealing itself in my mind, and I'm kind of emotionally detached from it, meaning I'm not conjuring up feelings of anger or rage or anything. I'm just like, okay, this makes sense. Okay, I get it now. But it makes me, the whole incestuous thing, for people to not even think that was weird, it's eye-opening to me, because this is how I see it, okay? I see it I had no idea that he was involved in any way, shape, or form, okay? But if let's just say, for example, he was interested in me without my knowledge, obviously, if he was indeed, then it would seem understandable that somebody would want to break away from that kind of lifestyle, or maybe have something of his own, but then people must think that these sort of relationships are normal. They must think that these mother-son type relationships are acceptable within their race or their culture or whatever. You know what I mean? So all of it's very strange to me. It is very, very strange. But anyway, now I understand where that hatred was coming from, this intense hatred. And she had and what's weird is when I left the Murray's place, I went home. I know this is crazy, but I mentioned before that I'm sensitive to electronics. The electronics actually respond to my brain patterns. As I was really pissed off. I was walking down the hall and my hallway, and the smoke detector, little sparks were coming out of my smoke detector every single time I was walking out of it, and they looked like little bolts of lightning. Okay, and I think it maybe could. I just felt like there was some sort of evil entity. Maybe, some people, if you think negative thoughts about a person, it can actually manifest in your surroundings. I know that sounds very strange. If you don't understand anything about metaphysics, then maybe you might want to look at it, look into it, whatever. But and I also remember I was burning some candles in my room, and now this is the weirdest part. They were in those enclosed glass cases, and two of those candles, the glass just busted. They just busted. I mean, I kept thinking, somebody is fucking after me. I could not understand it. And I thought, maybe it was Steve Murray's wife. I kept thinking maybe it was the Selena girl from work. Those are the people who I kept thinking were involved initially, right when I left that place, okay? I had no idea. Now I understand where this rage was coming from. This rage was coming from a woman who felt like she was losing her man. Okay? And the weird part is, I had no idea. No idea. And I also want to talk about some of that buffoonery that I noticed on Facebook, on Stephen Miles' page. I think a lot of that was made up. I really do. I think a lot of it was made up. And the funny part is, I think they were making it up. Well, these pictures are, the whole thing was being made up for some reason to make me. I guess there's certain things about that thing that makes it seem like it was deliberate. But at the time when they were putting his Facebook pictures out there, I had no idea. I wasn't even looking at his Facebook page. I didn't start looking at that until 2016. So if they were doing all of this shit, these little shenanigans and stuff, they're kind of the joke's kind of on them, because I wasn't even paying attention. I had no idea. I had no idea. It's crazy stuff. Anyway. So I'm sitting in my kitchen now, so I think I'm going to, oh God, what am I going to do? I was thinking about learning some embroidery, and then I also want to check out some, I do work with PowerPoint, but I'm not proficient in PowerPoint. So there's a few things I really want to do. And I know they have tutorials for PowerPoint on YouTube, and there are certain things I do know, and I wouldn't even call myself I'm not a master at PowerPoint. I've made a few little PowerPoint slides, and some of them I saved on a disc a few years ago, but they're not great, and I want to make them look really nice. And so I'm just going to start looking at some of these videos, starting from whatever lesson they have. Even if I might already know it, I'm just going to start from the very beginning. And I want to, kind of improve on PowerPoint because I think it's a great tool. I really do. I think that's the greatest thing. And I also want to learn how to add music to it and, make it look really cool. So anyway, it's 9:10 now, so I'm going to wrap this one up. And I won't be making any more videos tonight. I'm not going to look at my eyeballs or anything like that. I'm just too tired for that right now. So I hope you all have a good night. Except for my perps. Bye.